Hey guys, how's it going? It's Angelo Sanchez here.
And Phil Burke as well.
Alright guys, so today's topic on their Gamers Lounge is a really important topic to be talked about. And that matter is DLC. And Phil?
Downloadable content?
Alright, and for those guys, for the record, DLC can be good or bad or just straight out outrageous. So Phil, I bet you got plenty of stuff to talk about with DLC.
Indeed I do, Angel. I mean, DLC is something I think about a lot. And I mean, you know, it's one of those things where DLC can just really make a big impact also on what am I, gonna pre-order. Or on a lot of people say that, but most of the time it just makes me really angry.
Yeah, I know. It's like, can I get more for my game? Like, it's like, why should I buy this content when, it should have already been in my game? Why am I paying more for what I already got? And really, for DLC, like I mentioned, it's going to be good, bad, or outrageous. It's been going on for quite some time now, especially in this generation. Now, DLC really picked up back on PlayStation 3 and on Xbox 360 and PC these days. So, Phil, why don't you give us an example of some DLCs out there?
Pre-order exclusives. That definitely is a big one right there.
Yeah, and pre-order exclusives, it's a pretty big thing these days. Now, I bet everyone out there, when you want to get the most out of your game, and if you're highly interested in that game, you're thinking of purchasing, you want to pre-order it. And really, sometimes it gets a little outrageous when, I want to buy it after, but, I don't have access to that pre-order DLC. So, Phil, think of some pre-orders that have really gone wrong with the DLC.
Well, I remember when Diablo 3 started coming out on consoles. Pretty sure I think it was a GameStop exclusive where they were like, if you pre-order Diablo 3 from us for PS3, 360, you'll get the special suit of armor. And I'm just like, well, do you ever get it later? Most of the time, no, you don't get it to buy it later.
Yeah, sometimes the DLC in the pre-order market, they don't even put it up in the PSN or Xbox Live or even on the, the Nintendo eShop. And sometimes that really gets people why didn't I pre-order the game earlier? And really, then sometimes it gets outrageous when the person who pre-ordered the game gets to be even powerful online, like they get to be ahead of the competition, the ranks, just because they pre-ordered the game. And Phil, don't you find that super unfair?
It's really unfair, especially, competitive games.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
It's like you're going to handicap the player with this kind of DLC. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, and hasn't that mostly happened in, like, shooters, you think?
Shooters, definitely, FPS, most of the time.
Yeah, let's talk about in this DLC. And then that matter really has to go for Capcom out there. Now, I ain't calling out Capcom right now, but, I mean, this was a pretty disgusting act. So for Capcom, what they did, and I bet, Phil, you're aware about it too, Capcom put in this DLC, so you're buying for what you already have gotten, and which is really unfair.
Marvel vs. Capcom. Noticed it with Street Fighter as well. And I'm just like, can you guys make up your minds? You're making so many different versions of the same game.
Yeah, exactly.
Exclusive content and all that.
Yeah.
Back when Marvel vs. Capcom 3 first had come out, I'd go in there the next, say, month, and I saw Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and then, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 in another version on a separate disc.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so basically, people are kind of screwed out of, from having to buy a new game, a full price game at that.
And not to mention, did you see what now they're doing again? Capcom right now, they're doing an Ultra Street Fighter 4. And Ultra Street Fighter 4, it's like, really? We went from Street Fighter 4. Well, I can't purchase the DLC for this version of the game. I have to buy the next version. That's another $40. Alright, so I have this version of the game. But, I see there's Arcade Edition, which was the next version after Super Street Fighter 4. And then that one, have to be, I want to purchase those guys. Okay, I can do that here. And then now, Phil, there's Ultra Street Fighter 4. Does that make any sense?
No, and let's not forget about Super Street Fighter 4 3D on the 3DS.
Exactly.
I mean, that was another thing that threw this whole thing.
It's like, Capcom, why are you doing this, And then, not to mention, they did Ultimate Mario vs. Capcom 3.
That was, yep.
And
I
then,
remember seeing that on the shelf.
and then, not to mention Street Fighter X Tekken. Oh wait, that DLC is already in the game, but I must buy it anyways.
It just seems so redundant and like pointless, and people are just gonna, keep dumping their cash into this kind of like.
And it's funny when people are just like, I'm gonna just keep cashing it in. I mean, no one's bringing it up right now, so I guess till the time comes when someone brings it up, I guess I'll just keep on tossing my cash. Whoop, whoop, whoop. System only DLC.
Yep, system exclusives. Another pain in the butt.
Yeah, a real big pain. So I know we can think of some right now off the bat. Let's talk about the latest Mortal Kombat.
Yep, Mortal Kombat 9.
So, do you remember what was actually a system-only exclusive? Yeah.
Kratos, that you could only access, of course, with the PS3. I was surprised with Soul Calibur 4, how they always had their character exclusives, but what they had done with the Xbox 360 and PS3 version of Soul Calibur 4, because PS3 had Vader, Darth Vader, and 360 had Yoda, and then people were complaining that had the opposite system, like, well, I want to play as Vader, or I want to play as Yoda. Eventually, of course, they let you buy that. I mean, obviously, they wouldn't do that with Kratos, because it's Sony's, he's Sony's.
Yeah.
But, I mean, then people are like, which version of the game do I want to buy?
Yeah, and I bet Vader, even right here behind us, has something to say.
I'm sure he agrees.
I mean, he's right now thinking of a next plot to plot against Soul Calibur 6. So another thing with System Only was Dead Rising 2. So, I mean, if you had gotten the 360 version ahead of the time, Capcom had actually released a Dead Rising 2 Case Zero, which gives you a sneak peek preview of Dead Rising 2 for the events to come. But PS3 didn't have that, Xbox exclusive. And then, moving on to even further, both the games are released. We got 360 and PS3 version. So, the funnier thing really is on the PS3 version, you get the costumes, so did 360. But the funnier thing was then they thought of episodes to come out later. Oh, 360 only. Sorry, guys. If you purchase the PS3 version, you're a little out of luck. And I mean, Phil, doesn't that get you even more angrier?
Yep, it does. And it's like, well, I'm never going to be able to have this awesome-looking skin in this game because they aren't going to put it on there.
Exactly.
Guess I should have got the other system.
Just because I didn't buy the other system, oh, well, I'm out of luck. There goes, and I can't buy it anymore. And Club Nintendo, Club Nintendo offers free downloads. It's a great thing. When you buy your game, you can get, coins to get, cool stuff like even this little game link block. Like, if you'd want that, guys. But, sometimes even on that Club Nintendo rewards program, you guys don't even have, let's say, I don't own a Wii U, but that guy owns a 3DS. Meanwhile, Wii U has been getting the better downloads, like Wii U gets to maybe get Super Smash Bros. Melee, meanwhile 3DS, it can have that, it can, when you think about graphics-wise, it can run with that, because, I'm not sure if we can get to that level. Maybe GameCube games running on a 3DS. Do you think we can get to that level soon?
It's kind of hard to say, to be honest, and I'm not sure why, but it just something feels... I mean, the 3DS, for what it is, has pretty awesome graphic capability most of the time. Yeah. But I think it's more of a matter of not so much that the technology might not be there yet, but the fact that they might not want to, even though a lot of people request it, I see on forums.
Oh yeah, everyone requests.
They're just like, they're not sure if they want to spend the time, I guess, and money on it.
Yeah, and then, it's an oldie, and, everyone's been there, played that before. Yeah. But sometimes there's some true gamers out there. I love that game from back in the day. Sadly, I don't have it anymore, so I want to buy that again. So, and then it makes you wonder, like, why does the Wii U, something that just happened actually recently, Nintendo just announced Nintendo DS downloads are now for only the Wii U. And meanwhile, that was a portable games, really, for a portable system. And now all of a sudden it's only exclusive on a system. Does that make
Yep.
sense?
No, it doesn't. And the same thing that they did with the Game Boy Advance games are now on the Wii U download as well
Does that
on the
doesn't make
eShop.
sense?
I know. I know somebody who, when the 3DS first came out, was part of their ambassadors program before they had the price drop. Apparently, where they would get free downloaded games each, I think, month.
Yeah.
Where there were Game Boy Advance games on the list.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. It's obvious that they can run well on the 3DS.
Yeah.
That's obvious already.
Uh-huh.
But so it makes me wonder why they decided not to actually let the Game Boy Advance titles come onto the 3DS instead of being like, we'll put them on Wii U.
And then that's kind of like a marketing like fail. Really, it's like, wait, that was on a portable system, and I have the next portable system generation. How come it's not running on the next portable system generation, but on the home console generation? That makes like less. Like if you look at PS Vita, what it really owns about the 3DS is there's compatible play.
Yeah.
But
cross playing.
Yeah, you can if you have that system, portable system, and you can play in the home system, and then now all of a sudden, let's say, even PlayStation 3 games that are on a home system are also on a portable system.
Yep.
So why does that have to be with like downloads? Only for the home system, not go on the portable system. Is that
It just doesn't. I don't understand.
just gets you really like a big shrug. It's like, Nintendo, what are you doing? Like, come on, dudes. Like, I'd buy Mario and Luigi, Superstar Saga. Or, I want to buy there's not even Pokemon Red or Blue, like, even on that, the 3DS market. Now, I know there was already Fire Red and Leaf Green, but let's say, I want to download that again, but nope, it's only on the Wii U.
Yeah. Good job. Well, I did actually get some news today, and I'm not exactly sure of the source yet, but I have heard that during November of this year, they will be releasing on 3DS eShop the Emerald. No, they will be releasing Ruby and Sapphire of Pokemon onto the 3DS eShop.
I remember there was word out that was going to be remade, but I guess it makes more sense to just maybe leave it the way it is and just re-release it on, every console.
Yep.
I guess that's when matters make sense, but when, that really makes no sense when you got, here's a portable system. Oh, wait, you got home system. You take it all. Keep it. All right.
Yep. And especially when, it's like what Nintendo did with the Game Boy Advance games. They've got, right now, Super Mario Advance 3 Yoshi's Island on there. And that's just, why would you release a portable game onto your home console that's just a remake of a home console game? It doesn't.
Sometimes it really wonders, like, I could be the brains over there, and that's what really gets the people.
I feel like a lot of people
it feels like we could
that.
even work over there and get that place going. It's just like, guys, it's pretty sad when the fans can think of better, marketing trades than the actual, guys who work over there. If you had bought the game before, and then all of a sudden, a Game of the Year edition shows up. And Phil, I mean, I know you got plenty of stuff to say about Game of the Year editions.
Yep. So, yeah, a game has been out for quite a while. After, they decide to release the game itself again with the season pass, let's say, with all the DLC codes in it for like, 20, maybe $30 cheaper. And I'm like, wow, maybe I guess I should have waited,
Yeah. And then it just makes you wonder, guys, like, so Game of the Year edition just came out. Should I buy that? I wanted the game, and then now I want it, so it's got all that DLC. But then the people that had actually bought at full price, and then all of a sudden they bought all that DLC with it after, then now there's people that, maybe, everyone has their own separate reason for buying their games. Maybe some were just too lazy to even go to the store and buy it. And that's like, oh, sweet, I get the sweet deal. Meanwhile, the guys who already had bought are, a little out of luck. But I mean, it's all about it sort of works like because it's a market trade really like to get more people sucked in that weren't interested in it after, but
Yeah, that's true.
I mean it's really tough to go. I think it goes 50 and 50 a Game of the Year editions.
It really can. It varies definitely. I mean, sometimes I'm like, that's cool. Sometimes I'm like, that's not cool.
Exactly. All right, so now let's move on to some good matters of DLC. So, Phil, do you know of any like really great DLCs that have been put out there? So, guys, I hope you all learned something, both non-gamers and real true gamers out there. When it comes to DLC, it has to come really. Don't be stingy with the price of it. And Phil?
I think, what he said, don't be stingy with the price of it. You get what you get, just take it or leave it. And, I personally, I think that it's better to just, for developers to just, add everything they can packed into the game itself. But if they don't want to, then I guess we have DLC.
Yep, and I guess maybe we're going to have to deal with DLC for a while, guys. I mean, it's the hottest thing, regardless, like it or not. It's around. But, like I said, true gamers know when there's a really good DLC and a bad DLC. And don't, just buy it just to, feed them their money. It'll send a message to those developers out there, future developers out there. We have to make a better DLC system, or otherwise we're going to keep dealing with this mess. All right.
Yep.
So, guys, that's today's Gamers Lounge. I'm really happy that you guys stuck around with us for this, talk about DLC. And Phil, I mean, I'm glad to get that out of the way. I hope everyone's gotten the message by now.
Yep, me too. DLC is something I think about a lot. Kind of have sort of a love-hate relationship with it. But overall, I guess I'd more hate it than anything.
Yeah, everyone's got their opinion.